program is brought to you by Bless Money. We work with top lenders to secure a loan that suits your circumstances at the lowest interest rate possible. Study and work. We have changed the lives of more than 5,000 students, trainees, graduates, and professionals by matching them with over 2,000 companies since 2007.
Namaste and good evening. This is Ryan Sester from the Ryan Sester Show. It's a show about things that matter. And today I have a very special guest, Professor Dr. Jagadish Lal Baidya from Nepal. And the topic for discussion today is the meaning of success. Let me welcome Dr. Baidya. Dr. Baidya, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much for giving your precious time to come on board for a discussion today, because Dr. Baidya is a very busy man. He hasn't retired yet, but he is actually working part-time basis, and he's also at home, supporting his wife, who is actually recovering from COVID recently. To give you an introduction about Dr. Baidya, I think a lot of people know him very well. He's a very respectable and famous personality in Nepal. He did his FRCS from UK many years ago in the late 1970s, and he returned to Nepal. He worked for a number of government hospitals, and then he started his own venture. It's a private hospital, which is very popular as well, called B&B Hospital. And this hospital has been a model private hospital in the health sector in Nepal. They have inspired so many other people to get into this industry as well. And they were able to help thousands and thousands of people with their treatment. They actually were able to help people in Nepal without having them going to overseas for treatment, which was kind of revolutionary at that time. So, Dr. Baidya, first of all, I want to ask you a very simple question. I know you are a very successful doctor, but at the same time, you are also a very successful business person, a medical entrepreneur. What do you want to be called? A respected medical professional who is able to treat, complicated illnesses, or you want to be called a successful entrepreneur who is able to change many lives?
Definitely, as a surgeon urologist, because when I came back from UK after a decade in there, there was no proper urological setup in Nepal. There were no instruments. A general surgeon were doing, urological problems in a traditional sort of way. Okay, I brought some changes. I brought the equipment with me. I was trained to do endourological surgeries. So I would like to be, called a pioneer in endourology in Nepal.
Right.
They call father of endourology here, but I don't want to be called father. It sounds too old a person, which I'm. So, but I would like to take the credit that I started endourological service in Nepal in 1982.
Sure, Dr. Baidya, I know you are a person who is young at heart. You don't like to be called a senior citizen as yet. But in those days, in the 80s, I think you were one of the few urologists who had that expertise. And also, I heard that you came back to Nepal from UK with a special equipment, which was actually one of a kind. It was the first time in Nepal, that technology that you brought with you, right?
That is true, because just coming by yourself will not solve the problem, because the equipment is expensive.
Right.
So whatever saving I had in UK, I actually invested in the equipment.
Yeah.
So I brought it with me.
Yeah.
That was the sole luggage virtually,
Right.
because rest I had sent it by shipment.
Yep.
My daily, utensils and fridge and cooker and everything, and music set and all, I sent it by shipment. But equipment, that was my, whatever. That those days, I used to travel in economic class, so only you could carry 20 kilos, and 20 kilos for my wife, and maybe 10 kilos for the children.
Right.
So I brought all the equipments.
Okay. And Dr. Baidya, I know you don't want to be called the father of urology in Nepal, but how about if I call you a Robin Hood, in the medical profession? Robin Hood, because you are one of the first pioneers who started private medical, hospital, and you were, I mean, in those days, like private medicine wasn't that cheap. Even now it's quite expensive. But you actually you balance in such a way that you delivered both equity and equality. Like you were able to charge a reasonable fee to the people who can afford. Especially at that time, the middle class, families of Nepal, and also uh, like B&B hospital was affordable to those people who were not in a very good economic situation. Is that correct?
That is true. Now, when I came back from UK, my upbringing was very, very modest.
Right.
So I know the background of the general, living standard of the general people, what I went through, you see.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I didn't go to private practice straight away. I tried to find a job, because before I went to UK, I never was doing any government job. I was in a mission hospital as a house officer, then went to UK. Now, once I came back, I had, children with me, born and brought up in the UK. And there was no job for me. It was very, very frustrating.
Okay.
Though I had actually ticket in my pocket, if I wanted to go to Nigeria, Plateau University, a teaching job, as well as a job in Brunei,
Right.
as a surgeon. The salary was, pretty good compared to what I ended up in here. 1600 Nepali rupees per month. That's what I got. That also was not possible in government setup, because there was no lateral entry unless you knew the palace or the minister or something like that. Then only you could go to the Beer hospital. Okay. And then I joined again the same mission hospital called Santa Bhavan Hospital.
Right.
And you might not remember that. It was in the old palace called Santa Bhavan.
Yep.
I used to work there in 1972. When I came back in 1982, I again got the job of a surgeon urologist in that hospital. Temporary job.
Right.
Okay. So again, while working in that hospital, I could see a lot of poor people being served in the hospital. Then after I worked for 20 years as a chief of surgery and urology in Patan Hospital. This is actually, again, the mission hospital, but there was some collaboration with the Nepalese government. See, again, majority of the people, again, were poor.
Right.
But now look at my problem. I got to look after the children, okay, who were brought up in UK, but the salary was 1600 rupees. Actually, I didn't even apply for the job. Then the missionaries, they came to my house and they persuaded that I should apply. Then eventually I applied, and they allowed me to do the practice, private practice, after 4 o'clock.
Right.
And during the hospital off days, like Wednesday, Saturday. Unlike in Australia, you get Saturday, Sunday off. In Patna Hospital, it's Wednesday and Saturday off.
Right.
Okay. And I was allowed to do the private practice then. And without doing private practice, it was impossible to sustain. You know, when you come back from UK after 10 years, you know, what is the expectation? I have got a big family.
Yeah.
You probably know I have got total 7 brothers and 5 sisters.
Right. That's a very big family. I mean, 1 full dozen.
So those days there was no family planning. So there you are, 12 siblings and elderly parents.
Right.
Okay. So I had to do private practice. So me and Dr. Banskota, we started a Kathmandu nursing home with another 2 colleagues of ours. And then gradually we upgraded that hospital. And but
Right.
there was no drain, there is no water supply, the electricity, as you know, in Kathmandu, how fluctuant it is. So we decided to have our own hospital, which is in a planned way. So we moved to Guarco, and it is called B&B Hospital by our names.
Right.
I am Baidya, so I am about 4 years senior to Dr. Banskota. So my name came first, Baidya and Banskota Hospital.
Okay. Right.
And then after working in Patna Hospital for 20 years, where I have, because I was the only urologist to start with. So I used to treat people from Eastern Nepal to right far Western Nepal. They used to come with their indwelling catheters, with the terrible stone, damaged kidneys, and, there was always waiting list. So I went crazy, actually. I ended up operating, up to 25 cases a day. You couldn't believe how a person do that. Whether I do 2 operations or 25 operations, I don't get any, perks or extra payment, but I could see the misery of the people. One who has come from, say, Darchula, okay? Where is going to live in Kathmandu? Can you afford to live in a hotel? Is he insured? He's not insured. He would sleep anywhere in the Paua or Dharamshala, So I said, why put them in waiting list? So I went on adding them in my list. That's how I started doing too many cases. I think, but I knew, I came across, because I was operating and treating all these poor people when I opened my private hospital. Okay, and I took my early retirement from Patna Hospital. Obviously, the private hospital was crowded.
Right.
Dr. Banskota was actually more popular than me in orthopedics. Okay, he drew tremendous crowds. So we decided, we got to treat the poor patients as well, though it is a private hospital. So our philosophy has been that we charge a reasonable amount with foreigners, with those patients we got insured people, as well as with the rich people.
Right.
And we don't give anything free. We give a subsidized treatment. Once you start giving free, it will be misused, abused.
Exactly.
And against that. So we do the subsidized rate. In the meantime, we happen to be a teaching hospital, clinical teaching place for the Kathmandu University Medical School. So that obviously we had to teach the students. So we had 100 to 100 beds subsidized rate, means they pay 100 rupees.
Right.
You can calculate how much Australian dollar it is.
Yeah.
$1.25, okay, per day. That's how the students benefited,
Yep.
because they see varieties of cases. I wouldn't allow them to examine my so-called private patients. They would come with me in the round. I
Right.
will teach, but they are not supposed to touch them or examine them, because they all needed their privacy. So the general ward people, with the consent of the individual patients, the students could go and examine, take history, etc. See,
Right.
that's I started building up, and even in this small hospital, I will call it, legally it is actually a 100-bedded hospital.
Okay.
We used to have at least 200 patients or 190 patients all the time. Where could I send? I mean, if I say I'm allowed only 100 patients to keep, then rest will have to go somewhere else. Okay?
Right.
Actually, that is an illegal thing. Me and Dr. Banskota, both of us were put into prison almost, because illegally we admitted too many patients in the so-called 100-bedded hospital.
Okay.
We've had
Because there was so much demand for service.
difficulty, and you try to say discharge the patient, they wouldn't go. What I'm supposed to do? Okay, so don't call me Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I am a simple doctor who was brought up in a very modest family, so I know what pinches a ordinary person.
Right. You can empathize with them because
That's
you want to
how
come from a family with a lot of struggles.
As you are a sort of entrepreneur yourself and a businessman, business can be successful. You can still earn some money if you do things in bulk, like the Chinese do, produce.
Yeah.
We, on an average, you wouldn't believe it, in that small hospital, we have a 13 operation theater, and we do average 40 operations a day.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, I am bound to make some money. Okay, so now the new building is coming up. A total bed will be 300 bed, and total operation theater will be 22.
Right.
So there you are. Don't call me Rob.
Okay, sure. So I get where you came from. So basically, you had the calling for starting your own hospital because of the surplus in demand, for the medical service that you encountered when you're working for the government hospital. And you had to start a hospital because the government hospitals were not able to service them. So it's kind of like, you had no choice but to, be more creative, go out there, start your own hospital with your partner, Dr. Baskota, right? And then you grew it organically. So as you said, initially you had the capacity for just 100 beds, but there was so much demand, you actually had to admit more people and you almost ended up in jail. That's really interesting story. But I think you were there at the right time at the right place as well, right? And also because you had that unique skills, your expertise in urology, which was really in demand in the market at that point, right? I don't think I won't call you a businessman then, right? Because you were just providing the service that was already in need, and then you had to expand organically because you had no choice because there were so many people suffering, right? I can say that.
Well, when you start a private hospital, it is a business. There is a business motive.
Sure.
I have been lucky all through my life, but don't forget my hard work.
Yeah.
I was giving up my 300,000 per month salary in Brunei or in Nigeria, accepting 1,600 rupees. You calculate in Australian dollar how much it is, okay? And doing full-time job, because missionaries didn't allow any private practice those days.
Right.
I was the exception, okay? And though it was private practice, it was virtually a full-time job.
Yep.
Because, you know, I started at hospital all the time at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
My nickname in the hospital, you know what it was? I was called knifing doctor.
Knifing doctor.
Knifing doctor.
Yeah.
Because as I reach the hospital at 8 o'clock, I go straight to the theater. The patient will be there. The anesthetist will be there. And I will be there with my knife in, and they start operation.
Okay.
Otherwise,
at some point you were doing like 20, 21 operations a day.
Yeah. And, you know, the tendency in the government hospital, I'm not trying to blame anybody, but the system was that.
Right.
You know, after 1, 2 o'clock, people wouldn't do any major operation, and you won't find any doctors if you go to the hospital.
Yeah.
They will be in the private clinics. But 20 years, never ever left the hospital before 5 o'clock.
Okay.
5 p.m. If I don't leave the hospital before 5 p.m., none of the junior staff would dare to leave the hospital.
Okay, right.
You should take an example.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So in private practice, it is a business because you see, at the moment at BNB there are about 1,000 staff, say full-time, part-time, 170 doctors.
Oh, okay.
And more than 300 nurses.
Right.
Okay. Salary would be about, say, 2 crore per month.
Wow. Okay.
You know, the electricity bill. Now it is going with the war in Ukraine. It is going up every day. Every day the petrol, diesel, the bill is going up.
Yeah, even here the petrol prices have doubled almost. It's about like $2 a liter.
Per month between 20 and 26 lakhs, the electricity bill I got to pay.
Right.
When I say electricity bill, of course, it includes the fuel as well. Here, the electricity so irregular. You got to have backup, use generator.
Yeah, I know.
So it is a business because you got to fill that target, and you are employing so many people there.
Sure. So as you said, about 1,000 people depend on that hospital for their daily living, like for income, right? So you need to somehow make it profitable, you know, because the business of business is business, you know, it has to make profit to be sustainable, right? And I think, you know, I really admire your leadership as well. As you said, you're not just a surgeon, you know, I mean, you are doing surgery like from 9 to 5, and you're leading by example because you are there in the office the whole day, working hard. So all the junior doctors, you know, they also need to put in similar, or at least, you know, some effort. They can't, like, you know, government hospitals, they can't go home at 1 o'clock after lunch, right? I think you're a really good leader as well, Dr. Baidya. I mean, you know, you really led by example, I think.
Shall I just stop you there? And you see, I served so many people while in Patna Hospital in 20 years, you can imagine, okay? But benefit, I also reaped.
Yeah.
Because when I told you, I operated upon people right from the Eastern Nepal to Western Nepal. When I took my early retirement, they followed me to Patna Hospital.
Yeah.
You see, the Dr. Banskota, the same thing. People came from far and wide asking for Dr. Banskota. There was time to have a consultation with him next day. People used to queue from midnight, earlier night, midnight, stay in the hospital so that they get an opportunity to see Dr. Banskota. Because you can only see, say, 30 patients a day, or 25, or 40 patients a day.
Right.
You can't, you are not a robot. So you are physically tired.
Yeah.
So the benefit I also did, because many patients came to, if I go to BNB today and stay in the OPD, I'm sure people will come to consult me because of the reputation.
Right. Sure. And I think I really admire you giving so much credit to Dr. Baskota, for your success as well. And I think that's what actually made this partnership keep on going for so many years. It's kind of like Dr. Baskota and you, you're like a married couple in the business.
Yes. Well, I was recently interviewed in one of the daily television in Kathmandu.
Yeah.
And they asked me, how would you, relate yourself to Dr. Baskota, in a partnership. One is Newar, another is Brahmin.
Yes.
And the partnership is going on for last 40 years almost.
Right.
We never had an argument.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we talk to each other. I think you have been to BNB once.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I
My
came to
office.
meet you in your office, and
That
I was so
is-
surprised to see that you have desks next to each other.
we share the table and we communicate. Most important thing in partnership is communication.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing is you shouldn't have any interior motive to benefit yourself. Whatever benefit it is, it should be 50-50.
Right.
Okay? And I, in that television interview, I repeated one dialogue. तुम्हारे पास धन है, दौलत है, लेकिन मेरे पास माँ है.
Yeah.
Similarly, whatever anybody else got, I have got Dr. Baskota with me. I'm very proud of it.
Exactly. He's your most precious asset, and I think he probably feels the same as well, because you complement each other and you bring in different expertise as well. You are a well-known urologist, and he's an orthopedic doctor, I guess.
Yes. Orthopedics, you see, actually in his team, there are more than 30 doctors. We changed the mode of practice in Nepal. Not only we started the new hospital, we visualized that in next 10 years' time, there will be no manpower. So we started training the manpower. We sent some people to Pakistan, some to UK, to Bangladesh, to prepare the manpower.
Right.
As well as our hospital was a teaching hospital.
Yeah.
And even today, it is a teaching hospital, though it is a private hospital. We don't, another benefit to the students is that we don't charge a single penny. It is all free. We give in return, in fact, we give about 40,000. It's not a lot of money as a scholarship to each one of them. We have got 18 postgraduate students.
Right.
Since it is all free, they are the creams. They are the toppers we get. See how much benefit you get. The patients get the benefit of proper care because they are dedicated. They are with us for 5 years.
Yeah.
It is not a 1 or 2 years training. So they are really dedicated, motivated. They are accountable.
Right.
So
and
that
they are driven for success as well. Like they are hungry to learn.
Of course. So that with the good result, I feel very proud of it.
Yeah.
Because they get the FCPS degree from Pakistan. It is a very worldwide recognized degree.
Right.
Even in Saudi Arabia, Sudan, or UK, the FCPS is recognized.
Yeah.
You see, so that that exam final, they will have to go and appear in Pakistan. I am their preceptor as well as external examiner too.
Right.
Okay. And I will tell you, most of my students, they don't fail. Okay. Last batch, the Kinju, the lady, she topped the whole Pakistan.
Wow.
She became board first.
Yeah.
Okay, and the credit obviously goes to my team, not me.
Mm.
My team, I've got lots of urologists in my team. So our practice, and that lady is the first lady urologist of Nepal.
Okay.
Okay, so our practice is slightly different. We have prepared the manpower. Like in my surgery and the urology, I'm a world timer. I'm a professor of surgery. I'm a professor of urology. You don't get that sort of breed these days.
Right.
Okay, and Dr. Banskot, I told you, he has got almost 30 staff in his doctors in his unit. Out of them, about 16, 17 are only specialist orthopedic surgeons. Some do the surgery, some do the sports medicine, some do the knee replacement, some do the trauma, etc. Some do hand surgery. You see, similarly, in my unit, I have got surgeons and urologists, total about 15 of them. Right. So our practice is slightly different than the conventional practice.
Okay, and I think that's what made BNB so successful, because this is like a unique business model as well, where you believe in giving that opportunity to young students and graduates to come into your hospital and practice their skills, which leads to a win-win situation. It's win for everyone. Like, it's good for the students because they're getting chance to practice what they've learned, and it's good for the patients because they're getting all these young, really enthusiastic people helping them with their treatment. And also it's good for BNB because you have this labor force that you invest into, and then one day they will come back and work for you, and then they will reward you with their loyalty, right? Mm-hmm.
You are correct. As I told you earlier, when I came back, there was no platform.
यो सपनाको सहर सिडनी हरेक वर्ष हजारौं लाखौं मानिसहरू आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न यहाँ आइपुग्ने गर्छन्। त्यसै आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न यहाँ आइपुगेका छन् पोखराका राज श्रेष्ठ।
नमस्कार, म राज श्रेष्ठ। हेर्दै 60 वर्ष भएछ त नेपालबाट सिडनी आएको पनि। ओहो, त्यो सुरुको 2 वर्ष त सम्झिँदा त मलाई अझै आङ सिनिङ नै हुन्छ। धेरै दुःख पो पाएको थियो त्यो बेला त। फर्कियो जस्तो पनि लागेको थियो, तर फेरि आफ्ना सपनाहरू याद आउँथे। त्यही सपनाले गर्दा त म यहाँसम्म आइपुगेको छु।
सानैदेखि सपना देख्ने राज आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न खूब मेहनत गर्थे, लागि पर्थे। दाइहरू क्याम्पस गएको देखेर खूब मेहनत गरेर पढे, अनि क्याम्पस पुगेपछि त्यही दाइहरू विदेश पढ्न गएको देखेर आइएलटिएसमा उच्च अङ्क ल्याएर विदेश पढ्ने सपना पूरा गरे। विदेश आउन बुवालाई भन्दा पनि आमालाई विदेशमा भोकै हुन्न भनेर विश्वास दिलाउन पनि निकै मेहनत गरेका थिए।
सिडनी उत्रेको दिन त ठुलो युद्ध जितेको भान भएको थियो, अनि अर्को सपना देखेको, पुरानो नेपाली जस्तै फुल टाइम काम गर्ने। त्यो सपना पनि चाँडै पुरा भयो, अनि सपना अर्को आयो, पिआर लिने। अनि सुरु पो भयो असली सङ्घर्ष। त्यत्रो वर्ष बसेको सिडनी छोडेर लाग्यो अस्ट्रेलियाको गाउँतिर। 4 महिनासम्म त मैले केही कामै पाएन।
अथक मेहनतपछि आफ्नै क्षेत्रमा काम मात्रै पाएनन्, बरु पिआरको साथसाथै अर्को सपना पनि पूरा गरी छाडे।
त्यही बेला अर्को सपना पूरा भयो, एउटा राजकुमारी मनमा भित्र्याउने। यही सपनाले भरेको जीवनमा अब एउटै सपना बाँकी छ।
अब हामी दुबईको एउटै सपना, यो सानो पाहुना भेटाउन नेपालबाट बुवा आमालाई सिडनीको आफ्नै घरमा बोलाउने। हामीलाई विश्वास छ कि यो सपना पनि हाम्रो चाँडै पूरा हुँदैछ।
सपना आफ्नै घरको साथ ब्लेस मनीको। ब्लेस मनी, मेक इट ह्यापन।
In fact, there was no job in the government institutes. I was given the house officer's job. That is what you get once you pass the MBBS and finish the internship.
Okay.
After 10 full years in UK, I was doing locum consultant in UK.
Right.
Okay, I got my fellowship from Edinburgh, from London, from England in 1977. Coming back in 82, I was given the house officer's job.
Okay.
You see, now things have
You
changed.
were overqualified for that job.
Of course, I mean, house officer means the lowest job you could get after becoming a doctor.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
and now things have changed. You know, you might have realized that people, once they got their postgraduate degree, they don't go to Australia, they don't go to America, they don't go to England, except for the short training.
Right.
They are happier here. We have
Yes.
created a platform for them to work.
Yep.
Started it, but now they work in many hospitals. There are so many private hospitals. They are absorbed here. They made reasonable amount of money. How
Yeah.
much money? Money is not everything.
Yes.
We've been able to retain so many doctors. Like in my unit, there are 50. This is my hospital, I am the chief, and whole income should come to me. Who is going to stay with you?
Exactly.
You got-
You have to reward your
Their
employees.
income, maximum. They are satisfied with your job. You send them in training. They can make their decisions. Their
Right.
family is looked after. Then only they will be happy.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if I become my hospital, I am selfish, I should make, or my children should make, then who is going to stay there? I treat everybody equally, and all of them get the equal opportunity.
Sure. Someone, a successful entrepreneur said, if you don't look after your staff, your competitor will. Right. So that means you do always try and make the job more challenging and rewarding for your doctors. And that's why they give you that loyalty. And no wonder, you have over 170 doctors working with you right now, right?
Yes.
Sure. So this one new thing I learned today is that, you're not just an entrepreneur or a surgeon or doctor. You're also someone who has changed a lot of lives by training them. So you are also, well-respected, like Guru Ba, I can say, like Guruji.
Me and Dr. Baskota, actually, our nickname in the hospital, as you enter the main gate, everybody addresses us with Ba.
Okay.
I am the Baidya Ba.
Yes.
He is the Baskota Ba. We are called Ba by all the nurses and doctors. All the doctors call us Ba.
It's like grandfatherly figure.
So they are all our children.
Yeah.
If the hospital makes a bit of profit, I will distribute amongst the staff. They get the bonus. Okay.
Wow.
So that it is a difficult job, to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
But we have definitely done some wise thing by investing in training of those boys whom we send outside. They are very loyal people. We haven't signed a single bond that when they come back, they should work with us. They can go wherever they want.
Okay.
You see, we have never prevented them. But somehow, once they come to BNB, they don't want to go anywhere else.
Okay. So you don't have to bind them with a contract anywhere.
I might just take a little bit of credit here.
Yeah.
Actually, at one point, there was a boy from, I didn't know him, from Western Nepal, Sangja. Apparently, he was a topper. And in SLC as well as ISC, and he got entrance in MBBS everywhere. Teaching hospital, Kathmandu Medical College, all the private hospital, Dharan and everywhere.
Right.
But he didn't have money. One political leader of that area called me, Dr. Baidya, could you sponsor him? I said, if he really is poor, he can't. but he is such an intelligent guy. I will support him.
Yeah.
So I actually, that was the first time I sponsored the MBBS guy. I always sponsored the postgraduate guys.
Right.
Okay, first time I sponsored the MBBS guy. I interviewed him in the beginning, and I used to come and collect his scholarship, hostel fee and the book expenses, monthly his expenses from us. And he used to come. Then after the interview, I never met him. Okay, and 1 year, 2 year, it is 4.5 years course. And he must have passed the exam, but he never came to say thank you. And after passing the exam, he must have finished internship. He never came to meet us, never said thank you. He didn't come and collect his stipend, whatever. He stopped that. I presume that he passed the exam. I didn't know.
Right.
Then I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't come to meet me.
Yeah, after doing so much help.
Yeah, after about 9 months, or it was about 11 months later, I got one email. He has written that, Dr. Baidya, thank you, you have changed my life. You are a change maker for me. And now, because of you, I am now in America. I can pay back your whatever expenses you have, incurred on me. I was surprised to see that email.
Right.
I wrote him immediately. Look here, I never sponsored you, keeping back of my mind that one day I will recuperate that money from you.
Yeah, it was kind of offensive. Yeah. For him to say that.
Deserve to be a doctor, and I could help you. I'm in a position that I could help you. So I told him, I don't want any money back. Plus, please do one thing. You sponsor a candidate whom I feel that he is a suitable candidate. Okay? Not like you, who leaves the country and runs to America and wants to pay back the loan. No.
Right.
He will go to America if he gets the opportunity. But he should serve the Nepali people for a few years. Then after he goes to America, and whatever he does, in back of my mind, I hope he will come back one day and serve the Nepali people again. And you guy will find that sort of guy. And that was the last I heard from him. He said his father is coming to meet me. Neither his father came, nor I received any more email from him. Then after I stopped sponsoring the MBBS.
Okay.
That was a big
you gave him a very strong message there, like a good lesson. But I don't know whether it will open his eyes. A bit of Esan Faramos, you can say. Right.
Well,
and actually, there's something I wanted to ask you, Dr. Baidya. Sorry.
Opportunity, they say opportunity knocks.
Yeah.
When he knocks, you got to open the door.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you miss that knocks and don't open the door, you might miss your opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. So that he got the opportunity, he went to America, well. But the way he wrote me the email, I thought it was shameful.
It is very offensive.
I hope in the back of his mind, he still loves Nepal, and at some point he might help the poor Nepalese. What can I say?
Sure. Actually, Dr. Baidya, I wanted to ask you, what made you to make that decision of coming back to Nepal, in spite of having all that opportunity cost that you mentioned? You were getting a job offer to go to Nigeria, Brunei, with like hundreds of thousands of salary, but you decided to come back to Nepal. What was the reason? Is it just because of your love for Nepal?
Reason is very simple, because when I was a house officer in Santa Bhavan, I was to work very hard, and my consultant were very happy. One was from Canada. He wanted me to, go to Canada with him.
Yeah.
He said, you do FRCSC, Canada. And, but I knew my friends who went to America never came back.
Right.
I wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Not because, I am, my mind is full of nationality or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to come back because I told you, we have 12 siblings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
you have to support your family too.
I got to support my family.
Okay.
I came back not to support the, Nepalese people. I came firstly to support my family. Then if I could, then support the neighbors. Then if I could support, my district and then the nation.
Yeah.
Okay. Now in UK, the last job I did was in Charing Cross Hospital. It's a teaching hospital. We had to teach the medical students, British. And that opportunity, not everybody gets.
Right.
I don't know what it is in Sydney, but all those countries are basically, they have got racist mentality.
Yeah.
Okay? You are a British, but you are always a second-class citizen. I'm telling this to you because I had British PR. My children, some of them are still got British, but thank God my both boys given up British citizenship. They are Nepalese citizen now.
Yeah.
So in the teaching hospital for a foreigner, I am a black person for them. It was impossible to get in. But I told you earlier also, I am a lucky guy. All the time lucky in exam, in driving test, or getting a job.
Okay.
I got a job in teaching hospital where I could have made my career, of course, becoming a consultant later on, some research. You got to do research, do senior registrar, and become a consultant. The boss is a world famous urologist, Peter Philip. I mean, his book is written, I'm sure, written by Australian surgeons as well.
Yeah.
So that I used to work with him. But I did my fellowship in 77. And if you come back immediately, people will expect you to do everything.
Yeah.
Which I haven't actually learned. So in 5 years of my post-fellowship registrarship, I learned a lot. I am still continuing to learn. I mean, I didn't come here as an expert.
Yeah.
I was sort of expert, but with the 20 years of experience in Patan Hospital, doing 20 operations a day, don't you think? It taught me many things, many operations.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is much more than, observing somebody else doing or reading from the book. The practical experience I had. That's what I'm trying to now hand over to my juniors.
Yeah.
Okay. So I came back in 1982 I had those tickets because I didn't know anybody in Nepal. Today, people approach me, because I am a small source now, you call me.
Yeah, that's your humility. You're not a small source. Like, you are a big name out there.
For somebody. But those days, I knew nobody. Otherwise, I could have gone and worked as a consultant in Beer Hospital.
Yeah.
I was prepared to go and work as a surgeon anywhere in Nepal.
Right.
But no, I couldn't get the job.
Yeah.
Another thing, I was prepared to struggle. That's for sure. I was prepared to struggle. I struggled in such a way, in so many years that maybe many people who I have seen come back from UK, they went back again to UK. Nothing was given to me in a silver platter.
Yeah.
I created the silver platter.
Yeah.
Myself. I bought the silver spoon.
Yes.
And I started eating from the silver because nothing was given to me. Then with the hard work, hard work, I'm telling you, but it is not easy. Not everybody lucky as I was.
Sure.
The opportunity I got, though I was discarded from the government job, but I got the opportunity to serve the Nepalese people
Yes,
in a mission
exactly.
hospital. Okay, that opportunity is also very, very important. Okay, and now I have no regrets at all. I mean, I never have become at least as popular as I am in Nepal. Wherever I go, people will know me.
Yeah.
Even if I go to a grocery shop or to a butcher's shop, people know me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
the best. Okay, and, you
You
can't
can't
even
buy that
imagine
respect. Like it's
teaching
invaluable.
hospital life on your own. I didn't have any cash. You will not believe it. When I returned first year, 4 of my family, 2 boys and Rena and me, we used to live in a 12 feet room.
Okay.
That is all. And it was a month of May. 1st of May I arrived, and June June 6th I started job in Mission Hospital. I couldn't buy a table fan or a ceiling fan. You would say, everybody would say, this fellow is lying because he was in UK for 10 years. He comes back to Nepal and says that he doesn't have money to buy a fan. I want you to believe it. I didn't. I couldn't. I told you. I did order one Toyota Starlet car from Japan. I had no idea that I had to pay so much of, levy at the Bansar of the tax, good grace. Every penny I spent trying to bring my second-hand stuffs from UK, by shipment. Luckily, the car and all my stuff arrived the same day from Calcutta to Birganj to Kathmandu. Whatever money I had, I spent in paying the tax for the car and my stuff.
Right.
So I had no money. And you imagine, as soon as I returned, obviously the parents came and stayed with me. And I had 2-bed house, ground floor 2-bed house built while I was in UK. My dad helped me to build that house. I did send money small by small piece at a time. And another room was occupied by my brother's family. In that 12 feet room, 5 of them were staying. 1 son, 2 daughters, and my brother and his wife.
Okay.
In the sitting room, my parents used to sleep. And in another dining room, small dining room, my brother, who is now an American citizen, he is coming back tomorrow, by the way, from America after 40 years. I mean, he's been here many times. He is now virtually semi-retired, and he is arriving tomorrow 3 o'clock. And we are a very close family, you see. And he used to live with his 1 son and wife in that room. Can you imagine? I mean, there you are.
Yeah.
You are back from London, and
right.
Like that. Only 1 bathroom in that apartment.
Yeah.
That's bathrooms. Okay, so that you got to have that zeal that no, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you were actually willing to go out of the comfort zone, like from the life in UK, and come here, start from scratch. You were ready for that.
I was prepared.
Okay.
Because I want to support whatever money I could make here. I want to support my parents. The younger brothers, they were like my son.
Right.
I had to keep them with me, educate them. The little sisters, they got to get married.
Yeah.
I had to help them. I'm a doctor. Coming back after 10 years.
There was so much expectation from you, from the family.
Of course. And I could see my dad when I met him, his nose was this size. He was so proud that I came back.
Right.
Couldn't stop the tears from my eyes.
I'm sure he must have been very proud of you. Yeah. Sure, Dr. Baidya. Yeah, I think you're getting a bit emotional there. I really.
Okay, this is part of the life. I'm glad that my parents could see not this success, but part of the success in my life, so that I'm very proud, and I never regretted, except once when the robbery occurred at my place and they abducted my son. Except that time, I have never regretted coming back.
Right. Okay. Sure. And I think you said that you've been lucky as well. But as they say, luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. And that's what happened with you. You were not really lucky, but you were very hardworking and you were willing to go out of that comfort zone. I think that's what made you lucky, right? Your story is truly inspiring, and I'm so happy to know today that, you had such a humble beginning, and you worked your way up, right? From like having nothing, and you had to buy your own silver platter, silver spoon. You said it very correctly, I think, Dr. Baidya. Really, really inspiring.
You obviously spend your childhood in Kathmandu, so you wouldn't even imagine how we studied.
Yeah.
I have recently written a book. It's called Jagadish Paila Haru.
Yes.
And in that I have, with the photograph, with the proof I have written, what sort of school I went to. It's a thatched hut, no walls.
That was in Pokhara.
In Pokhara. Only wall was on the eastern side. That also the block of, boulders from the river, which we had to carry. I was only 10 years old. Carry on my head. Okay, put in there in piles, and you study in there.
Right.
And even when I was doing SLC, there was no electricity. We had to buy a bit of kerosene, put it in the little bit of, we call it tuki, kerosene, and didn't have enough money to buy enough kerosene so that during exam, at least we could study the whole night. Okay, and in a Nepalese house, the mother, they worship the god, and there is a little clay pot. It's called pala. You put some oil in it, and then a thread, okay, and you light for the god.
Right.
Pala is called. So, and we used to bring that pala from the puja kotha, the worship place, and study in that pala. While we woke up in the morning, because it gives very little light, you had to really bend down, and in the morning it was black from here to here.
Due to the smoke from the pala.
Due to the smoke and what do we call there is some word I forgot about it now. Smoke. You color your whole forehead, and this is how we studied. So now, obviously we are in a lot of, compared to that, things have changed in Nepal. The education system, if you see it, you can see, you are in Sydney, you see every year lots of students coming to Sydney. Look at the education system. When I came back in 1982 and compare it today, there is tremendous improvement. I'm sure one day nobody will want to go to Australia or America or UK.
No doubt. I think the education standard in Nepal is much better. It's world class now. I think the young generation is so smart, and they speak so well.
Same thing with the health system. When I came in 82, the health system in Nepal was so terrible. Now look at the health system.
Some of the hospitals are so good.
The latest technology is coming up. Unfortunately, the latest technology import, the expenses of the healthcare system goes up. Because everything is expensive. The laser is expensive. The robot is expensive. The gadgets, new monitoring gadget, everything is expensive. City is, the 128 slice city is you get so many in Nepal now, even in the districts you get it. The MRI, the latest 3 Tesla. In Australia, it is 1.5 Tesla. In Kathmandu, you see 3 Tesla MRI. So
Right.
that the latest gadgets are bound to come, and we got to adapt to it.
Yeah.
And when I was a professor of surgery urology for Kathmandu University, the whole theme of the Kathmandu University is to retain the students which they produced. It was the cheapest medical college, Kathmandu University Medical College. It used to be called CUMS,
Right.
but they couldn't. 95% of the students, all of them went to America. All of them.
That's
They
so
could-
bad. I think,
Yeah.
we should really
Things have-
stop.
You see, the rate of students going out has come down.
Yeah.
Postgraduate opportunities has opened up in Nepal. Once you got the postgraduate degree, you will want to go abroad, of course, for training. You will come back again.
Yeah. I think this is really, really not a good thing to happen, actually, the brain drain in Nepal. And these developed countries like US, UK, Australia, Canada, they are stealing these doctors from poor countries, while those poor countries need them the most. It's robbery. It's like, they're doing so much harm to poor countries by stealing these manpower, right? I really, I'm against this idea of migration of highly professionals, from poor countries to these countries.
Can I slightly disagree with you? Okay. Disagree in the sense that, of course, they are stealing, but they are also providing the opportunity. Those who are going to Australia, they are getting opportunity, getting better education. Even doctors are going there, so that they are serving there and learning some of them. Same thing in America. Like my partner, Dr. Banskota, came back from America. Okay, and I came back from UK. Actually, my colleagues who are now in America, they actually come and see my living standard. They actually envy me. Okay, it can be done. If Dr. Baidya can do it, you can do it also.
Sure.
If Dr. Banskota can do it, you can do it also. Now, the opportunity came, they went to Australia, they went to America or England. I don't blame them.
But they should come back,
But I mean, coming back is a very tricky question. Not everybody in their field of speciality will get that opportunity in Nepal. That's what the government should do. They should open up a job. They should open up the opportunity. If there is an opportunity, they will come back. But that opportunity got to be there. How can you expect a nurse who has gone to Australia where she is making per month 3 lakhs Nepalese rupees? You expect her to come back and go back to work again with 22,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees? That's not fair.
Sure. They have to be compensated economically as well.
Politicians and us included should make it in Nepal. Why don't my postgraduates guys go to America or Australia? Shall I tell you quietly? Don't tell it to the income tax. They make more money in Nepal than they would make in Australia.
Yeah, that's possible. Like in Western countries, as being a doctor is not easy. Like, the professional immunity insurance is so expensive, and you can't take risks as you do in Nepal. Like, for example, when I go to doctor here, if I ask the doctor something based on my own research doing on Google, they will just tell me to do further test, because they don't want to take the risk of not giving me the advice that I might need, so the doctors here has to be very, very careful. And also the migrant doctors who come here, the government is so smart. Like, they don't want them to stay in cities. They will send them to like remote areas, and they won't have that quality of life that they expect from Nepal. So it's not like coming overseas, you make lots of money and you have a high quality life. That's not the case. As you said, they can stay in Nepal, they can do really well there, and make a good income as well, right? And also, I think someone like you, as you said earlier, you can inspire them by instilling that value, that mentality that, it's better to be head of an ant than the tail of an elephant, When they go overseas, they become a tail of an elephant. But what does the tail do? Just like, try and
I just look
deter the flies from coming to your eyes.
from the perspective from the Australian side.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't call this guy to go to Australia, this doctor. Okay. This doctor, of his own choice, he went to Australia. Okay. Now, the Australian village people, remote people, they also got to get the service. And the Australian wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
So here they have got someone who is qualified and willing to stay in Australia because he is getting much more salary than in Nepal.
Sure.
Okay, so he will take that benefit of the doubt and send him to the remote area to serve their people.
Yeah.
This is human nature. Let's not blame to anybody.
Sure.
This is human nature, so that even in Nepal, you see, there was a point when nobody would study anesthesia because there wasn't much practice.
Right.
It was such an unpopular job. Same thing was true in UK. When I was there, nobody wanted to become the anesthetist. Okay. The Indian anesthetist mainly,
right,
or Bangladeshi, or Pakistani, or from Iraq, or from
because
Nepal.
it is the most riskiest job in the medical profession?
You see, now things have changed. One thing, people are wanting to become the anesthetist because there is private job opportunity so much. They make as much as surgeon.
Right.
Okay, without having to face the patient. In Nepal, you do something wrong, the patient, the surgeon is sacked. He got to face the crowd. The anesthetist, who is actually in the background, and he doesn't have to face the fault might lie somewhere in between. But anesthetist, nobody blames.
Right.
But now things have changed, so that there is opportunity for the anesthetist, and I give credit to one American fellow who has opened a foundation here in the memory of his dead son, and the one American who is my colleague used to be the director. The system he established is that you would sponsor to study anesthesia or the general practitioner, but for 3 years you will have to go and serve the remote places of Nepal.
Right.
It was a brilliant idea. See how nicely it is working now. The government should have similar idea. To give opportunity. They are doing now gradually. They should have done it long time back.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't have been so much of brain drain to doctors. I'm just talking about doctors in Australia, UK, or America.
Sure. Right. That's a lot of wisdom from you, Dr. Baidya. We've already listened to and discussed. Let's move to your personal life a bit. Is that okay?
Sure.
Dr. Baidya, you are a very charming, handsome man. I think in your early days, probably you will get compared with James Bond, maybe, right? And you also a very good communicator. Did your good looks and your soft communication style also help you become a popular doctor?
I'm not sure about the good look. I'm not that good look. But if I was not a doctor, I'm sure I would have gone in a showbiz.
Yeah, most of the doctors are bald like me,
I love dancing and playing in the drama, school drama. I was always a cultural secretary. Okay. And while I'm in the topics here, I was not a brilliant guy. I never stood first or board first.
Okay.
So in my little book, I have tried to give that message that you don't have to become a board first or topper to become a successful person in life.
Yeah.
A mediocre can achieve. There is no shortcut. There is a
Right.
hard work.
Yes.
It is not a lottery that you get. It is
You
the
don't have
hard
to be
work.
genius, but you have to be hardworking, and you got to have that persistence.
So that most important thing in being a successful, I will come to successful part later. In the practice, let's say in the communicating with the patients. Most important thing is the ability to be able to convince and communicate with the patients.
Yeah.
You treat the patient as if they are your family members.
Right.
They are, I have operated upon, hundreds of thousands of people. And that patient whom I am going to operate tomorrow is one of my patients.
Right.
But the relative of that patient, he may be the most important person in whole universe.
Yes.
Okay, so I must treat him also like my family. How would I behave?
Yeah.
That sort of behavior is very, very important. You don't consider yourself as a god. Old days, doctor was told, oh, you Vishnu ko avatar. No,
Right.
you are human being and your patient is also a human being. You should treat them as such. Okay, and communication, there is so much breakdown in the hospital and, toad they call it, and they beat up the doctors. Thank God it hasn't happened to BNB. But most important thing to me is the communication. Number one is communication. You got to narrate, you got to explain, you got to tell. These days, it is medical legal is gone so far that you must have evidence that you have explained these things to the patient, either in the CC camera or you should write it down in the paper and get the patient party signed. Because medical legal is become, it is in Australia, it is in America, in UK, everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So you change along with the time. So that not the, handsome face or anything, but it is the communication skill.
Right.
And your behavior towards the patient.
Sure.
That's what will bring. I have treated, operated prostate of a, elderly grandfather. I have operated, removed the gallstone or kidney stones from the father or daughter. I have done similar operation in grandchildren. I have already operated from Tin Pusta, they call,
Right.
3 generations.
Okay, sure. Right. So that means you never treat your patient like a number, even though you do like 21 operations a day. You treat each one of them as your own family member, like your own brother, sister, son. Yep. Okay, good. That's good. And talking about your family, I know you are married to a very beautiful lady, Reina Baidya. I guess it was a love marriage, and I suspect she's the one who's pulling the string in the relationship. Can I give credit to her for your success as well? Is she the woman behind the successful man?
Well, she doesn't really pull the strings from behind,
right.
But I would like to give her a lot of credit because she is a very quiet sort of person, but very intelligent person.
Yeah.
She is somebody whom I fell in love when she was 11 years old.
Wow.
I don't think anybody can believe it.
Yeah.
She was in a short visit to Pokhara for 2 months. She was at the airport to say bye-bye to her grandfather. He was going for inspection in Pokhara. She cried, and she was the only daughter. So the grandfather bought the ticket and took her to Pokhara.
Okay.
I was there in the school. I was about 16, 17 years old. She came to stay in my lane, in my toll. So I saw her. She saw me. She was 11 years old. And I was maybe 17 years old.
Right.
16, 17 years old. There you are. So people say it can't happen. It happened to me, and I am still with her. Next year is our 50th wedding anniversary. At 21 years of age, she passed her MSc. In 20 years, 21 years, I don't think many people will be there who have done their masters in organic chemistry at the age of 21. And actually, we even got married, when she was 21.
Okay, you got married at a very young age, right?
And
did you have to face any challenges then? Like, because as you said earlier, you come from Pokhara, like kind of village in comparison to Kathmandu. Did you get discriminated?
Her parents wouldn't, accept our relationship.
Yeah.
I every time from Pokhara, I send a love letter. Her grandfather used to read it and tear it off.
Right.
Don't write a love letter. He used to give it to her, to his granddaughter.
Yeah.
But later on, when I, came to Kathmandu, and they liked me personally, but those days, rich means you got to have a house and a property in Kathmandu, which we didn't have.
Yeah.
And we were 12 siblings. Her grandfather knew it very well. Yeah. Though I call her grandfather now, those days she used to call her the Ba, means father.
Okay.
Okay. And she was brought up by her grandfather, educated by her grandfather.
Right.
So when I was doing my MBBS, he would still tear those love letters off. So I had to, send this letter to a friend of mine who happens to be the vice chancellor of Eastern University. Now he is retired, and he used to be the demonstrator in the class.
Yeah.
So he to put that letter in her practical, notebook, inside the notebook.
Oh, okay.
That's how I started writing the love letter. Later, when I, came back after education, they accepted me, and we got married. And I appreciate her sacrifice. When she was in London for 10 years, she's a brilliant, intelligent girl. She could have done, PhD or studied. But we had to bring up our children, either I had to sacrifice or she had to sacrifice. She decided
to sacrifice her career for your career. Okay.
Career. Yep. And once we came back, I told you I couldn't buy the fan first year. She quickly joined the teaching job again. She was the lecturer again, and now she is a retired associate professor of organic chemistry.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, that's really impressive and such a lovely romantic love story you got. I think you had to be a doctor to win her over. I mean, especially from her family, to win her hand. You had to become a doctor, otherwise you wouldn't have got married with her.
I will tell you one little secret.
Yeah.
Somehow, I didn't want my wife to become a doctor.
Yeah.
I didn't want wife as my spouse.
Right.
So after ISC, she could have gone to do MBBS very easily.
Right.
Because she passed in second division. Those days, you could go get a scholarship to go to China or Russia. May not be in India, very easily. But she didn't go.
Okay.
That means there was something in her mind. She supported me and she did MSc.
Sure.
She became a doctor.
Right. So now, Dr. Baidya, in your family, there are, I think, 4 doctors. You are a doctor, your eldest son is a doctor, younger son is a doctor, and your daughter-in-law is also a doctor, right? So in your dinner table, conversation, do you mostly talk about your sick patients, and maybe your younger daughter-in-law might get sick of your conversation? Does it happen?
First of all, once my children got married, I bought them a house wherever they would prefer in the posh area, and I sent them out.
Okay.
it is very important to have at your age your freedom, your privacy. That's my principle.
Yeah.
You know, the children are doing well. I'm lucky, I told you, because a success in life, of course, success means different thing to different people. You know, for a guy who is just appeared in exam, passing the exam in distinction, is success for him. But at my, you know, fag end of my life, what I consider a successful life is like a, you know, 4 quadrants in a plate. Number 1, you got to have a good health.
Yeah.
Without a good health, you can't have a happy life. That can't be a successful life. Okay? And you must have family relationship smooth.
Yeah.
Lovely relationship, which I am lucky to have. I have got a beautiful wife. She is so sincere, she is so lovely, so caring. Right? And the children could, I have got a little bit of money, the children could have become drug addict or something. No, they are professionals. The elder son is a laparoscopic surgeon. The little boy is a uro-oncologist. And the granddaughter, I mean the daughter-in-law is a pathologist, clinical pathologist. So my other daughter is not a medical person, the daughter-in-law. So it is, and you got to have money to become a successful. Money plays its part. Money is not everything.
Yeah.
Money doesn't give you success and, you know, satisfaction. But money is very integral part. You must have money.
Yes.
To have a, you know, happy life or successful life. And most important, another thing is the satisfaction in your profession.
Yeah.
That these are the 4 principles of my life, that you must have money, you must be satisfied what you are doing. Your family life should be very, very happy, like mine. And of course, you got to be healthy. Healthy means you don't have to become a bodybuilder, but you shouldn't have, you know, illnesses. You couldn't be happy with that. Okay. Now, as for since I have kept my children not very far away, 1 kilometer away from my house, they come. The little boy is here now. His wife and 2 granddaughters are here.
Okay,
and
they're there.
The little granddaughter actually just brought one painting she made. She is 12 years old.
Oh, wow. Nice drawing. Oh, she's a good artist.
Yeah. So this is on her, because she was in Dubai when we celebrated our 49th anniversary. Today she brought and gave me this present.
Right.
She said she is 12 years old.
Yeah.
She is very good orator. And she is in class 7 now in British school, and she is first in oration in British school.
Right. So she might end up having a career in politics, maybe. Be a good speech.
I want her to be a lawyer, not doctor.
Okay. Right.
Anyway, so, you know, this little success or pleasure, we don't talk about the patient in the house. We don't discuss about it.
Okay.
Of course, while eating breakfast, if my son comes and joins me, I will definitely tell her what is in the list today.
Yeah.
I will tell him that, you know, you should study before you go and operate the patient. I might give him few advice, but we don't discuss the patient's affair at home.
Right. So you don't bring work home. You leave work at work, switch off, and then come home.
Yeah. But I am a little bit of sentimental sort of guy, you know. If my patient is not doing well, I just can't sleep. My wife knows. So whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock, she would tell me every time that, why don't you ring the ICU? Say how it is. If he is okay, then you can sleep.
Right. Yeah, that's so nice of you. So I think, you know, like you have a very balanced family. As you said, you got everything. So do you consider yourself, because the topic of discussion today is the meaning of success, can I say that, you are successful? Like, like the ultimate definition of success is what that applied to you. You were able to achieve most of the ingredients. Can I say that?
Well, you can call me successful, but I told you right in the beginning that the definition of successful is different for different people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I am successful, I will consider, because I am healthy. Okay. I have got such a happy family life. I have earned a bit of money. I'm in such a position that I can help people.
Yes.
Pleasure of having money is when you can help others.
Yeah. You utilize that money for good things.
And I am satisfied with my professional life. These are the 4 things to me, and all the 4 things I have achieved. So I feel that I am successful.
Sure, exactly. I agree with you 100%, Dr. Baidya. As like some, spiritual people, they say, like, success is not how much wealth you got, or how many tangibles, certificates, qualifications or trophies you have. It's what it's the satisfaction you get from what you've created that has changed someone's life, or you've been able to make a difference in someone's life by something that you've done. And I think you've done so many things. You produced so many doctors, you treated so many patients, you sponsored people, and you also do a lot of philanthropy. And I think the recent autobiography you've written, I've seen in media that you've mentioned all the revenue that's been generated from this book, you're donating it to a charity, right?
Yes, every single penny will go for the treatment of the disabled children. Right. This is called SRDC, Hospital and Rehabilitation Center for Disabled Children. These children come from remote areas of Nepal. People who have lifelong walked in the crawled in with their hand, never been able to walk. All these guys, my partner, Dr. Banskota, he has opened SRDC hospital, which is about 14 kilometers from here. It looks like a resort in the top of the hill in Banepa. It is very difficult to sustain that sort of hospital. That is not only hospital. Because it's a reconstructive surgery, the patient lived there, got to stay there for months, maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Right.
You got to give them education. You've got to give them appliances. You got to make the artificial legs, artificial, shoes, special shoes. Everything is done in that hospital, and they have got approach to all the districts of Nepal.
Right.
They have got mobile camp. They go. The patient don't come to the hospital. They can't afford to come. They got to go to their home. Identify them, bring them and treat them. Once you discharge them, make sure that they are living well in the society. They are adjusting their life society. That work is appreciated so much in America. People come from there to learn the technique they are using for the Delpis equinovirus, the feet like this. People come from America. He is decorated with almost like a children's Nobel Prize. With $100,000 prize 3 times. Bill Clinton given the Star Prize, but there is no recognition in Nepal.
Right.
Okay, so that I want to donate whatever comes from the sale of this book. I wish I could send this book to Australia also.
Sure, Dr. Baidya. Please do send some books here too. I will try and help you promote it.
Anyway, if you can help me,
Yeah.
People coming here, returning, everyone could bring, 5 or 10, 7 books. it would not be overweight for them, then I would really appreciate.
Yeah. Have you
The cost-
considered selling it through online, like eBay and stuff? Like you can these days you can sell books online, because your book is going to be so valuable as well. It's got so much inspiration in it. It will be worth investing a few dollars.
I printed 2,000 copies. At the moment, I have got only about 360 copies. Rest are gone already. It's
Right.
only been a week or 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I was invited to Pokhara to give a sort of motivational speech. I'm not a speaker, mind you, but the book went there like a hotcake.
Okay.
And now they are inviting me to Biratnagar and Chitwan to speak and about the book. And I'm not a good writer or anything like that, but it is the simple experience of my life. That's what I jotted down.
Yeah, which is so inspiring.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to write it in a very scientific manner. I mean, it's got so much inspiration and so much emotion in it. So I'm sure it will be worthwhile spending some time to read this book. I'll definitely buy one for myself, and if you can send some copies here, I'll share it with my friends.
Try to say, definitely. I have my son is going to America. He is taking about 75 copies.
Right.
Because my daughter-in-law is also going in the business class. You can carry 35 kg. So he is taking some. I am hoping that someone I could find to go to UK, South Africa, and Australia.
Sure, Dr. Baidya. Just one thing I wanted to touch as well, like you mentioned already before, like the only time you regretted coming back to Nepal from UK was when your younger son was kidnapped by the so-called terrorist then, and he was held for ransom. And I think you had to pay them like a lot of money for his release, right? That must have been a very stressful situation in your life. Like how did you deal with that?
Well, I have written that in detail in my book. Up to now, I haven't given any interview to anybody. People came, but I have never spoken about it because I am a person who doesn't go to media or something easily. So I have mentioned everything in that book. They came. They pretended they are Maoists. Those days they were just coming out of jungle, but when they left the house, they said they are not Maoists, they are robbers. So they warned me against informing the police, army, or Maoists. So that they came at about 12 o'clock midnight. Those days there was no light. Load shedding was for 14 hours. And that night was actually a Aunshi ko Raat, we call it. Aunshi means there is no moonlight ever.
Yes.
So that night was very bad night for me. 22nd of March 2006. And they came and they threatened. They came with the guns and big long knives, kukri, and they really tormented. They had studied about me for 3 months.
Right.
They knew what sort of social work I have been doing. I am looking after 40 anaths, the orphans, for last 25 years.
Okay.
They knew that. I have been helping the schools and, where my mate goes to the school, whichever school he goes, I have been establishing a scholarship for the girl student in that school. So that, for the help post, whatever I can do in a small way, I am not a big social worker. I have been doing that. And they knew it. Still, they took everything from me. Because that time, Rena had brought all the ornaments, all the jewelry, the diamonds, everything at home. Because the little boy, Saroj, was going to get married.
Okay.
So everything was at home that day. Some of the precious metals were there.
Right.
I operated upon Kedar Mani Dixit, the father of Dr. Sundar Mani Dixit. And you might have heard Dr. Sundar Mendiji. He is in Patan Dhoka, famous person. He has gifted me 3 gold coins, 1 tola each. And that sort of gold coin, one was during the coronation of Gyanendra, when he was 5 years old. Another one, only 3 coins made those days. The grandfather of Birendra, when he became the, king. Similar valuable coins. By mistake, from the locker, that coin also came.
Wow. So there were things of sentimental value as well.
Everything.
Okay.
On top of that, at the end, they took my son also.
Yeah.
I told them that you have so much of money. They took about 30 million rupees worth of jewelries. I had a lot of US dollars at home. This is illegal to keep dollars at home. There you are, because my youngest brother works in with UN. So every time he comes, he used to bring some dollars. He kept it here. He took the Nepali rupees. And I had traveler's checks. Even my British driving license, they took.
Right.
Anyway, they took everything. That time I was really helpless sort of thing. I approached the king, Gyanendra. I could approach him through some link, but nobody could help me.
Okay.
So that, even today I haven't got single penny return, though the 2 of them are in the prison.
Okay.
And obviously,
so they got caught. They are in the prison now, but you couldn't recover any of the lost money
at all. Apparently, they sold the whole thing in Singapore. I think about 20 million rupees, which was more than 30 million worth.
Right.
The gold coin, they sold it as a gold coin.
Yeah.
It's such a valuable gold coin.
Sure.
And because as you know, in Nepal, when the son or daughter gets married, you make all those very 15 tola each of gold, multiple. It's called, I forgot the name. Chandrahar.
Yes.
3 of that means 45 tolas of Chandrahar.
Yeah.
And make the diamond lockets,
Right.
and the diamond necklace they took, which I bought it for Rena. She's not, somebody who would wear diamond nets only seldom in the functions she used to wear. She didn't care about it. She didn't even cry once.
Okay.
Despite the fact that she lost so much of ornaments.
Right.
Anyway, but then immediately after that, I went to Australia. Australia is my favorite place because I like, Sydney, I like Hobart, I like, I've been to many places in Australia. Yeah. So I thought I will go and settle in there. And settle how? I went and talked to a surgeon, very famous surgeon. He used to be my director in Patton Hospital, called Frank Garlick. I gave him a call. His son is a famous doctor. He's a surgeon in Australia, but he was in old people's home. I was taken back. That system doesn't exist in Nepal. It might come one day.
Yeah.
Good grace. I'm not going to stay in the old people's home.
Right.
And I saw people working in restaurant. It's very hard work to run a restaurant.
Life here is not easy.
Till it is 2 o'clock in the morning. And 10 o'clock morning, you got to go back to the shop because you got to buy vegetables for the lunch. And then you eat your lunch at about 3 o'clock. Whatever leftover is there in the restaurant, you come back, have a little bit of nap or wash TV. Again, 6 o'clock, go back to restaurant.
Yeah.
Till 12 midnight.
And there's no guarantee that the restaurant will be a successful business.
Yeah. So I was really fed up, and I enjoyed my stay in Sydney. Then I came back. Yeah. I have written there in one Nepali song, Jina yaha, marna yaha, iske siva jana kaha.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Right. Sure.
That's the only time I was frustrated. I could have gone back to UK, but there you are.
Right. Sure. Dr. Baidya, I think we had a very long chat, probably more than 2 hours already. We didn't notice the time fly by. It was so interesting. So many things to hear from you. So many wise words of wisdom, advice, inspiration. It was really great. Dr. Baidya. Thank you very much for your time. Maybe before we terminate our program today, maybe one last thing I would like to ask you is what advice would you give to Dr. Jagadish Lal Baidya, who was planning to come back to Nepal from UK when you were maybe in your early 20s?
Yeah, this is a good question. But you see, you have personalized here.
Yeah.
You have said, what would you say to Dr. Jagadish Lal Baidya? Jagadish Lal Baidya is somebody who is a professional person, who is fully qualified,
Yeah.
I am still the only visiting professor to Royal College of Surgeons of England, only Nepali visiting professor. So I cannot be categorized as a average person. I was lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so that what I got to, since it is Australian television, it is very difficult for me to say that, well, you have been to Australia, you come back to Nepal. No.
Okay.
Opportunity is there.
Yeah.
Take the benefit. But in the back of your mind, always remember Nepal. Right. Whatever contribution you can do, you can sponsor education in the healthy region, in the school. There are so many ways. And to us, once you have made enough money, you can come back, set an example, people will follow you, and you can do so many good things. Okay, you might think that you are retired. Do not retire from life. Life goes on.
Right.
So that, there are many ways to help Nepalese. You may be an entrepreneur who can do so many things in Nepal. There is opportunity. You got to make your opportunity in Nepal. You got to make the platform for the second generation, next generation. So that, advice, I don't want to stop a nurse going to Australia. Now the UK is asking for 300,000 nurses from Nepal. I think they should go, have the benefit. But the government should make such a policy that the production of nurses, quality production, it is the proper training, trained nurses should be produced in Nepal. Make the platform such that those nurses who have gone back to UK will want to come back to Nepal. I will give you one little example. When I was in UK, those days, I'm talking about 1973. Our nurses, a lot of them used to be from Malaysia and Singapore. In my 10 years stay there, the Malaysians were still there. But there weren't any Singaporean nurses. They all went back to their country because they were paid better than UK. Even the UK doctor went to Singapore to work because they were paid better. Same thing in Australia. Australians paid more than what UK were paying in UK. I remember a lot of Australian surgeons working with me. All of them went back to Australia. So Nepal government should learn from them, make the platform. You may not be able to pay equal amount of salary, but look here, everybody, whether you are in UK, America, or Australia, back of their mind, they love Nepal. Opportunity comes, they will come back to Nepal. That opportunity we got to create. The government got to create.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%, Dr. Baidya. They should use the foreign country as a platform to hone their skills, maybe make some money, and then they should always think about their home country. As you said, the further you are from your home country, the more love you have for your motherland. So even though we are overseas, we can try and help our motherland in many ways. These days, as you said, Nepal, there's a lot of opportunity as well. And, we can always come back there and do something there as well. That's my personal plan as well. And I think, that's the message that you've given to people living overseas, which is quite valuable. I think we'll call it a day for now. We had a very long discussion. Really had a good time. Dr. Baidya, thank you very much for your precious time and your wise words of wisdom. Hopefully we'll meet again soon.
Surely. Time flies, as you said. It's been almost 2 hours. I want to say something about my hobby, about my agricultural farm.
Yeah.
I am thinking of going in the fisheries farm now. I have got animal husbandry as well as in a lot of fruits. And now I am planning to go for fisheries at 78 years of age. If I could, I would even go in the hospitality business with the help of Australian NRN or whoever.
Right. I think
you
got so much enthusiasm. You never give up. You're like an energizer battery, Keep going. So I think you're a kind of person who would never retire. You would only expire. Can I say that? But we keep going, until you can. I really appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. Anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Baidya. I think that's all for today. I really want to thank my audience as well for their audience, and hopefully we'll see you again with another topic. Bye for now. Namaste. And
surely, my love to all the Australian listener of Everest TV.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Baidya. Thank you.
यो सपनाको सहर सिडनी हरेक वर्ष हजारौं लाखौं मानिसहरू आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न यहाँ आइपुग्ने गर्छन्। त्यसै आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न यहाँ आइपुगेका छन् पोखराका राज श्रेष्ठ।
नमस्कार, म राज श्रेष्ठ। हेर्दै हेर्दै 60 वर्ष भएछ त नेपालबाट सिडनी आएको पनि। ओहो, त्यो सुरुको 2 वर्ष त सम्झिँदा त मलाई अझै आङ सिनिङ्गै हुन्छ। धेरै दुःख पो पाएको थियो त्यो बेला त। फर्कियो जस्तो पनि लागेको थियो, तर फेरि आफ्ना सपनाहरू याद आउँथे। त्यही सपनाले गर्दा त म यहाँसम्म आइपुगेको छु।
सानैदेखि सपना देख्ने राज आफ्नो सपना पूरा गर्न खूब मेहनत गर्थे, लागि पर्थे। दाइहरू क्याम्पस गएको देखेर खूब मेहनत गरेर पढे अनि क्याम्पस पुगेपछि त्यही दाइहरू विदेश पढ्न गएको देखेर IELTS-मा उच्च अङ्क ल्याएर विदेश पढ्ने सपना पूरा गरे। विदेश आउन बुवालाई भन्दा पनि आमालाई विदेशमा भोकै हुन्न भनेर विश्वास दिलाउन पनि निकै मेहनत गरेका थिए।
सिडनी उत्रेको दिन त ठुलो युद्ध जितेको भान भएको थियो अनि अर्को सपना देखियो, पुरानो नेपालीहरू जस्तै फुल टाइम काम गर्ने। त्यो सपना पनि चाँडै पुरा भयो अनि सपना अर्को आयो, PR लिने। अनि सुरु पो भयो असली सङ्घर्ष। त्यत्रो वर्ष बसेको सिडनी छोडेर लाग्यो अस्ट्रेलियाको गाउँतिर। 4 महिनासम्म त मैले केही कामै पाएन।
अथक मेहनतपछि आफ्नै क्षेत्रमा काम मात्रै पाएनन्, बरु PR-को साथसाथै अर्को सपना पनि पूरा गरी छाडे।
त्यही बेला अर्को सपना पूरा भयो, एउटा राजकुमारी मनमा भित्र्याउने। यही सपनाले भरेको जीवनमा अब एउटै सपना बाँकी छ।
अब हामी दुबईको एउटै सपना, यो सानो पाहुना भेटाउन नेपालबाट बुवा आमालाई सिडनीको आफ्नै घरमा बोलाउने। हामीलाई विश्वास छ कि यो सपना पनि हाम्रो चाँडै पुरा हुँदैछ।
सपना आफ्नै घरको साथ ब्लेस मनीको। ब्लेस मनी, मेक इट ह्यापन।